Hello. I'm trying to wrap this up here. Apologies for missing Zeki Morin and Orhan Gençebay last week. We will get to them at the beginning here and then right on through. So last week we did um, Turkish history, Turkish culture, music in Turkey, and Eastern music more generally. This week we're doing these three singers, uh, Zeki Morin, Orhan Gençebay, Sezen Aksu, and then we're doing the song Aziz Istanbul by Munir Nureddin Seljuk, and then we're doing it by Bülent Ersoy, and then we're doing it by Timur Seljuk, and then that's it. We're done. Okay, so a bunch of music videos, and I hope I'm just going to show clips, and then I'll post the links to the full video after the video. It's just I'm afraid that if I go through the whole video, that I'll get takedown notices from my friends at Yahoo. Okay, bring it down here. Zeki Morin, son of art, ideal citizen. So his biography is that he was upper middle class. He came from a relatively prosperous family. He had excellent musical training, and he was a virtuoso at 19. At 19 years old, he was tapped to cover for someone. I think this happened to Josh Rogan or Josh, one of those big singers. I was just listening to an interview where somebody was supposed to perform in LA and they got sick like 5 hours before the performance, and so they found this. They find this 19-year-old to go on instead, and it's Zeki Morin, and he just blows them away. He's actually better than the star they had scheduled. Um, and so it was the same thing here, just a revelation. His voice, his delivery, everything. So he was considered, but from the 50s to the 70s, a national treasure and an ideal citizen. Um, Up until the 80s, I mean, he stops performing at some point. He's kind of roughly similar to Liberace, if you're familiar with the movie that just I don't know came out 5-10 years ago about the 70s pop star who's a virtuoso performer but also flamboyantly gay, but of course closeted because of 1950s, 60s, 70s sort of repressive attitudes. Um, so let's see pictures of him here, of our guy, Zeki Morin. You can see somewhat not exactly uh, gender conforming here. Um, you know, Lots of makeup, lots of fancy outfits, lots of very flamboyant hair, um, and clothing styles and all the rest. So that's what we're looking at here. Um, Throughout his life, somewhat bucking gender stereotypes, but not. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Not this doesn't affect his public persona and his public reception. People still love him. Okay, so let's listen to Melek Shalendi Sular. The waters went violet. I'm gonna show off the lyrics here, uh, just in case you don't have your textbook right in front of you. We'll see how this works. Um, Violet went the waters went violet. I listened to the dark complexioned evening once again without you. The lilac with its glitter and the gardens were enfolded in shadow. The nightingale sighed again. There is no such thing, they say, as a thornless rose. There is no such thing, they say, as a thornless rose. No such thing as an untormented nightingale, Aisha. This is a girl's name. But not every bird is a nightingale, they say. Not every flower is a rose, Aisha. No nightingale loved its rose as much as I love you, nor was there such a loving soul, nor anyone more beautiful than you. Leave me to my inner longing, for I am burning. Allow me to believe in the dream I saw in your eyes. Okay, now we're going to watch the first few minutes of a clip with him singing that, if I can find it in here. Here it is.
Menekşelendi sular, sular menekşelendi. Esmer yüzlü akşamı dinledim, yine sensin. Leyla pırıltılarla bahçeler gölgelendi, inledi yine bülbül. Olmazmış gül dikensiz, dikensiz gül olmazmış, çilesiz gönül Ayşe. Her kuş bülbül olmazmış, her çiçekten gül Ayşe.
Pause it there. So you can hear that smoothness and richness. It's he doesn't have a tremendous range. Um, the vocal quality is not really incredibly powerful. His voice is smooth, androgynous, and friendly. So it's a civil voice that resonated on a national scale. He was puffed by Turkish radio and television, but the people loved him. He was enormously popular. Um, his sexuality, there was some denial of it originally. I mean, once he died, when did he die? Sometime in the 90s, I believe. So after he dies, there's immediate denial. No, he was, people say, oh, he was gay. And they're like, no, 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 he wasn't. Um, but then, later on, once they think about it, yeah, I mean, and lots of older women went to their grave believing that Liberace wasn't gay either, despite the palimony and all that lawsuits that went on. But eventually, there's acceptance, and then later on, some of the more activist people in the Turkish gay community have spoken out critically of him for not coming out during his lifetime, especially later on when it wasn't really a big deal anymore after the 90s when his career was set. In any case, so that's where you have sort of the secular, solid, nationalist, state sponsored capitalism sort of message of the 50s to the 70s. No religion, no minorities, nothing, no, sort of class discussions. He's upper middle class, so he's not super rich, but he's definitely not, from the streets. So it's all very um, cool. I mean, it's really rough on democracy, but it's a very smooth and friendly uh, state, as long as you're not trying to be too religious in your democracy. Okay, number two, the affectionate modernism of Orhan Genshebei. Here we have the 70s reactionary moment. Genshebei does have formal musical training, although he has spurned it. Zeki Müren. I mean, this is classical music. This is highly trained art music. What he just did. Orhan Genshebei is coming in with that classical training, but spurning it to go off into pop music, sort of like I don't know some of your Willie Nelson or something like that. Willie Nelson had plenty of musical training. He's a composer of pretty slick pop, and then he spurned all that to go into country music, um, just because he thought he could make more money that way, um, and grew his hair out long. It's a pretty common thing if you're a musician who's trying to make a living. There are lots of opportunities available to you, um, and this is what Genshebei tried to do. So he's singing arabesque. This is a genre of music associated with working class rural to urban migrants. It'd be roughly analogous to country or honky tonk or southern gospel in the U.S., um, where it's just kind of low class music, but intensely popular, and a lot of people love it. And it is very religious, so there's lots of Islam sort of put into there. We have the interesting song Bachin Budunya, and I'm gonna do the lyrics first. Um, and then I'm going to do the original 1975 film that he talks about in here, and then I'm going to show the sort of the modern um, um, music video. Oh goodness, we're up to 12 minutes. I'll do this next.